Welcome to Short Movie Channel. The movie begins with Claire, who's just arrived from Australia and is visiting Berlin for the first time. She left her job as a professional photographer at a company and plans to work as a freelancer. She's clearly excited and full of the curiosity of someone exploring a new city for the first time. She gets off the subway and starts looking around, completely captivated by the city of Berlin. Since she doesn't have much money, she checks into a small hotel. There's already another girl staying in the same room. That night, Claire heads up to the hotel rooftop and finds a group of young people hanging out, drinking, and having a good time. One of the guys invites her to join them, and she agrees. They drink together until morning. As the sun comes up, everyone leaves with the person they were with, while Claire stays behind, enjoying the view. She picks up her camera and starts taking pictures. Afterward, she falls asleep. The next day, Claire gets dressed, grabs her camera, and heads out to walk the streets. She does a little shopping and strolls around Berlin. At one point, she notices an ordinary woman cleaning a rug by the window and stops to take a photo. Then she goes to a public library, pulls out some books, and starts flipping through them. One book has some slightly inappropriate illustrations, so she leaves the library. She waits on the sidewalk for the traffic light to change so she can cross the street. A guy comes up beside her and drops his books, pretending it was an accident. Claire instinctively helps him pick them up. He thanks her and asks if she could hold a box for him while he gathers the rest of his things. The box is full of strawberries, and he offers her one, saying he brought them from his father's farm. He introduces himself as Andy, an English teacher. She tells him she's a photographer, specializing mostly in real estate photography. They keep talking and get to know each other. As they walk together, Claire gets a phone call from her mom, but she doesn't answer. She tells Andy her mom worries about her too much. When he asks if her mom knows she's in Berlin, she says yes, of course. Andy then asks, "So what brings you to Berlin?" Claire explains that she used to work as a real estate photographer but got tired of it, quit her job, and decided to travel and explore new places. After chatting for a while, she asks him, "Based on what you know about me so far, how do you see me?" He replies, "I think you're brave." She smiles, liking the compliment. Later, Andy walks her back at the end of the day, and by then Claire has started to like him. Wanting to spend more time together, she tells him that the hotel she's staying at has a bar and suggests he join her for a while. But Andy plays it cool and says he has another appointment. Claire feels a bit embarrassed but decides to try one more time. She tells him she's leaving Berlin the next day for another city. Andy starts to get closer, gently touching her hair. Claire begins to feel a connection. But suddenly, he steps away and tells her to take care. She's left standing there, feeling awkward, watching as he walks off without looking back. She heads up to her room and starts reviewing the photos she took, including some of Andy. She zooms in on his pictures, clearly showing she's developed a crush on him. The next day, Claire returns to the same place where she met Andy at the crosswalk, as if hoping to find him again. She walks around the area, checking every spot he might be, until she ends up at the library once more. Inside, she sees Andy sitting there with the same book she was reading the day before. Claire walks up to him, and Andy pretends to be deeply focused on the book, acting like he didn't expect to see her again, though he's clearly happy she didn't leave. He then takes her to a cafe, where he notices a necklace around Claire's neck with a gold ring on it. He asks, "Is that your wedding ring?" She replies, "No, it was my mom's. She gave it to me when I was a kid and told me, 'Whenever you feel lost, hold the ring like this and you'll come back to me.'" Afterward, Andy takes Claire to his place in his car. As soon as they arrive, Claire senses that the area is kind of sketchy, very rundown and poor. Even the building he lives in has a broken door and damaged walls. They go up to his apartment, and he offers her a drink. Claire decides to stay. The next day, Andy goes to work at the school and leaves Claire alone in the apartment. Claire wakes up and starts looking around the place, but she quickly realizes the door is locked from the outside, and she doesn't have a key. To her surprise, she also notices that one of the rooms is locked with a key. She starts searching for it, but can't find it anywhere. Trying to stay calm, Claire tells herself she's not a prisoner, Andy must have just forgotten to leave her the key. So, she sits down in a chair and waits for him to come back. When Andy gets home from work and opens the door, he sees Claire standing in the kitchen. Claire smiles and says, "Why didn't you leave me the key?" He apologizes and says he forgot and meant to leave it for her. She laughs a little and asks, "So, am I locked up here?" Andy laughs and says, "Yeah, so you don't run away." The next morning, as Andy's about to leave for work, Claire reminds him, "Don't forget to leave the key." He replies, "It's right here in front of you," and then leaves. Claire heads to the kitchen to eat, but she realizes her necklace, the one her mom gave her, is missing. She goes into the bathroom and looks in the mirror, only to find something written on her shoulder. "You are mine." Terrified, she grabs the key Andy left and runs to open the apartment door, but even the window won't open. She rushes to her bag to get her phone charger, but finds that her SIM card has been removed. She grabs a chair and tries to smash the window, but it has 2 layers, one normal and one reinforced that doesn't break. That's when she finally understands. She's been kidnapped. That door isn't going to open again. When Andy comes back home, she's standing by the door and tells him she's going out to grab something. He doesn't respond, he just closes the door. Claire asks, "Why are you doing this to me? Why are you keeping me here?" Andy replies coldly, "You're the one who chose to stay and not travel. You said you wanted to be with me forever?" Claire loses it and hits him, but Andy just restrains her and brushes off the violence. The next day, Andy visits his dad and tells him he's met a girl. His dad brings up another girl Andy used to know. Her name was Natalie. Andy replies, "No, this one's name is Claire." His dad asks, "Is she from Germany?" Andy says, "No, she's from Australia." His dad is surprised. He says all the girls Andy has ever known weren't from Germany. They were all tourists. Andy goes back home and finds Claire sleeping. He unties the ropes and tells her he talked to his dad about her, and he even got her a gift, a puzzle toy and a heart with "I love you" written in German. But Claire doesn't respond. She ignores him and starts treating him like he's mentally ill. He tells her he called her mom to let her know Claire is okay. Claire snaps, "I'm not okay," and throws something in his face, then leaves the room. She heads to the bathroom to take a shower and finds another girl's hair in there. Now she's terrified. She realizes the guy she's with is far from normal, and there may have been other girls before her. Maybe even more than one. The next day, Andy leaves for work like usual. Claire starts searching for anything she can use to open the door and finds a screwdriver Andy forgot to put away. Usually, he keeps all his tools locked in a box with a code because he knows she'll try to escape. She tries to open the door with the screwdriver, but fails again. Later, Andy comes home and finds Claire playing with the puzzle, laughing. He feels like Claire has finally adjusted to her new life. He joins her and starts playing with her. Claire sees her chance. She stabs his hand with the screwdriver, so hard that it pins his hand to the table. She grabs the key from him, opens the door, and runs out. She heads down the stairs and reaches another door, but it won't open. Meanwhile, Andy manages to pull his hand free and chases after her. He catches her as she's trying to open the door and slams it on her fingers, breaking them. Then he carries her back upstairs. The next day, Andy is at school, teaching gym class. He sees a girl named Franca, and they lock eyes. He starts feeling attracted to her, but remembers he's a teacher and she's a student, so he tries to back off. When he gets home, he finds Claire reading a book. He brings scissors and starts trimming her nails. Then he takes her to the bathroom to wash her. While they're in the bathroom, they hear someone knocking on the door. Andy quickly covers Claire's mouth and whispers, "If you say one word to that girl, I'll kill her, and you'll be the reason." He goes to the door and finds Franca there. She tells him she followed him and found out where he lives because she likes him. Franca spots Claire inside, but Andy slams the door and tells her, "I don't ever want to see your face again." If you come near me, I'll tell the school you followed me all the way to my house. Franca leaves. Claire asks, "Who was that?" Andy says, "A student. Her name's Franca." After a while, he goes to his father's house and finds him dead. Vandy stays there for 2 or 3 days, refusing to bury him. Then, 2 days later, he finally decides to call someone to come take the body and arrange the burial. He goes back to Claire, carrying all his luggage, and tells her that his father died and that he's decided to stay with her. He hugs her and breaks down crying. Time passes and they spend some time together. Then New Year's Eve comes. Vandy brings Claire a present, 2 books, one of them about Australia, and he also gives her a dog to keep her company in her loneliness. Claire is really happy about the dog. They start talking, and she asks him why and how he chose her. Vandy says he saw her walking down the street alone, and that she caught his attention. When she stopped to film a woman cleaning her rug, he figured she must be a tourist, because who else would record something so ordinary? After a while, Claire asks him about the girl he used to know before her, the one who was here. But he tells her there was no one before her and asks her not to bring it up again. Vandy decides to take Claire out, but still takes precautions to make sure she doesn't escape. He takes her to a forest that's deserted and mostly covered in snow. Luckily for Claire, they come across a small boy crying, asking for help for his injured older brother. Vandy goes to check on the injured boy. Meanwhile, Claire quickly tries to tell the little one that Vandy is a bad man and that he kidnapped her. Unfortunately, Claire speaks English and the boy only speaks German, so he doesn't understand anything. Vandy realizes what's going on, yells at Claire, and starts getting suspicious. He senses that Claire still wants to escape, so he shows her the gun in his hand. Claire understands that he's crazy and capable of killing them all. He drags her back to the car, locks her in the trunk, and drives them back to their apartment. Vandy keeps taking strange, disturbing photos of her, mostly inappropriate ones. He also takes the dog he gave her and dumps it back on the street to make her feel alone again, as punishment. Later, one day when Vandy is out at a party and not home, Claire takes advantage of his absence and finally manages to open the locked room. Inside, she finds a black leather suit and a photo album full of pictures of other girls in the same poses he made her do, most of them very explicit. Claire leaves the room, looks out the window, and sees a man in the building across the way. She tries to scream for help, but he doesn't hear her. She grabs a flashlight and starts signaling him until he notices her. The man comes down and tries to open the door, but Vandy shows up just in time, grabs a metal bar, and hits the man. The man falls to the ground, and Vandy keeps beating him until he dies. Vandy then takes the body and puts it in the trash bins. He forces Claire to help him get rid of the body since he says it's her fault. They dump it in the garbage and set it on fire. The next day, Vandy is grading his students' work at home. One of the notebooks belongs to a student named Franca. Claire sees the name and gets an idea. She wants to send a message to Franca, but she has to do it without Vandy noticing. So, she burns herself on the stove and tells him to go get burn cream from the bathroom. While he's gone, she quickly grabs Franca's notebook and slips in a photo of herself being tortured. The next day at school, Franca opens her notebook in class and sees Claire's photo. She realizes Claire is being held against her will in Vandy's apartment. Franca grabs the notebook, but the photo falls out. She jumps on her bike and rides straight to Vandy's place. Meanwhile, another student finds the photo Franca dropped, and the students begin talking among themselves. Vandy sees the photo, realizes what's going on, and rushes out after Franca. But fate steps in to save Claire. The streets are super crowded that day, and traffic slows Vandy down. Franca's bike ends up being faster than Vandy's car. He gets out and runs to the apartment, where he finds Franca's bike outside. There's a bag and a hammer on the ground. He rushes up the stairs and checks the apartment, but Claire isn't there. Suddenly, he hears banging upstairs in the supposedly abandoned apartment above. Vandy runs up and calls for Claire. But then he hears her voice calling from below. He runs back down to search the lower apartment again but doesn't find her. Suddenly, she calls out to him again, then locks him inside. Claire finally traps him the same way he had been trapping her all this time. The film ends with a brilliant final shot that mirrors how it started, Claire looking out over the streets of Berlin. But this time, she's free. At the start of the film, she was free from a job that made her feel trapped. But now, she's free from Vandy, this time, truly free. And that's the end of the movie. If you enjoyed it, give us a like and let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.